Relationships are priceless. They're better than money sometimes. I wish I had created better relationships early on. Now they're priceless to me. And I always make more deposits than withdrawals. I don't think anyone ever met in my life will say, Bruce has taken more than he's given. Because when you do need that help or favor, someone's like, he's already made me 10 deposits, you know what I mean? And I think that's where I got where I was at Quest. I not only brought value, I exceeded their expectations. So if they needed a room painted and I would do it on a weekend because I knew the studio needed to get done, I'd also get the furniture and get everything else, and they'd come back and say, shit, we didn't ask you to do that. I know you didn't, but I got it done for you.
What it is, Brad Lee back again with another episode of Dropping Bombs. Today in the studio, folks, just like every day, I've got a real treat for you. Bruce Cardenas. Now, is it Cardenas?
Cardenas, yeah. Yes, sir.
Bruce Cardenas in the house. Now, you are the former Chief Communications Officer of Quest Nutrition.
That's right.
You've been a police officer. You built a big-ass protection service agency, like a bodyguard agency.
Yeah. Yep.
You got stories up the yin-yang. Have you always lived down in Southern California?
No, I'm a Jersey guy, and the Marine Corps got me out of New Jersey.
So how old were you when you joined the Marine Corps?
22.
Why 22?
Well, you know, I always had a boyhood dream of being a cop, right? Uncle was a cop, neighbor was a cop. And I grew up in a very small little town, and I used to do ride-alongs. And one day I said to the chief, I got out of high school, messed around with college, and realized that wasn't for me. And I said, hey, how do I become an officer? And he said, listen, you're young, you're immature, in his kind way, right? He said, but if you go in the Marine Corps, I'll hire you when you get out. So I grabbed my best friend and went in the Marine Corps.
Believe it or not, I was 18, but that's why I went in the Marine Corps.
Is that right? Yeah.
I wanted to be a cop.
Oh, you did?
And you automatically got hired if you were coming out of the Marines.
Yeah, you get credit and points. And yeah, and I had no path to get there. I just knew I wanted to do it. And New Jersey, I thought that was my life. So
did you have like New Jersey, mafia type experiences out there?
Well, my father was in the construction business. I think he was a pretty straight-laced guy, though. But some of his associates probably weren't.
Yeah, but did you have to hang around that, see that?
A little bit.
And then when you became a cop, were you ever worried about that?
No, I was worried. I had a black sheep, a big brother who did a couple years in prison and all that, but that came up in my background for sure. And they dove deep into that.
So how long were you a cop for?
So 12 years full-time, but the bodyguard business really took off. So I left doing that to pursue the bodyguard business.
12 years where? What
LAPD.
City? Okay, LAPD.
Yeah, did my probation in the Foothill Division where the Rodney King incident happened.
What about that incident? Let's talk about that incident. You were there when the Rodney King shit happened?
So you want to hear something crazy? I did my probation in Foothill Division, where it occurred. I worked with 3 of those guys. I had just left and went to Hollywood Division, and it happened the next month.
Dude, when you look at a Rodney King type incident, and again, I'm as fair
Sure.
gets. Like a lot of times when I see, people saying, "Oh, it's because he's black." No, it's because he's, fighting and being a dick. Like,
yeah.
I don't care what color you are, you're arguing with the officers. Sometimes I say, hey, dude, I don't think it's because he's black. I think it's because he's being rude and he's being a dick. That one, dude.
Yeah.
That was a serious, obvious evidence that there is some racism going on with police officers. And dude, I don't think that's fair because you're a police officer.
Yeah.
Police officers have to be the fairest of all.
Absolutely.
Because otherwise, dude, I would be scared shitless of police officers, which again, if you talk to any African-American, if you talk to any Latino, if you talk to any, other race than supposedly white, because again, I'm Latino and Irish. Yeah. Everyone always says, you're a white boy. No, I'm Latino and Irish.
Yeah, me too.
My friend.
I'm whitewashed.
Yeah, you're Cardenas. But my point is I know a bunch of good cops that, dude, they're out there to protect. They don't care about all that. And then you see incidents like that. Right. How did you handle that in the force because everybody freaked out over that?
I'll be honest with you, and we could talk, that's a whole episode just on that, but I had to learn my own way because my first training officer was a very hardcore guy, old Vietnam vet. And it was a culture. I mean, I think there's racism that still goes on, but that's probably whatever small percentages. Like I said, a lot of cops just want to do their job and treat people well. My training officer wasn't a racist, but he was just a rough guy. It didn't matter whether you're white or Hispanic. We probably had more run-ins with white bikers than anything, meth heads. But I remember one day very clearly.
See, now you're going to get a phone call. You just called white bikers meth heads.
Right. Well, I'm saying it. There was a certain part of LA that there was
There's
definitely
white bikers listening to this going, dude, what's he talking about? Meth head.
No, anyway, that's not true in all of them. I mean, obviously.
And when it comes to bikers, you know, when I grew up, I had an aunt named Vicky and another aunt named Peggy. Obviously, they were sisters. They would date bikers. So one was dating what was called a free soul.
Uh-huh.
You heard of the free souls?
No, I haven't heard of them.
You never heard of the free souls
No.
when you were a cop? What about Hell's Angels?
Of course.
Yeah, so one was a Hell's Angel and one was a free soul. And the free souls liked the Hell's Angels.
Yeah.
Up where we were, dude, you didn't mess with the free souls. And you didn't mess with the Hell's Angels. But they were dating bikers. So I got to hang around a bunch of badasses when I was a kid, and freaking no one ever messed with me just because they knew that I was associated somehow.
That's right. Yeah. We had Vagos and Mongols and Hell's Angels and just independent bikers too. But going back to this, we arrested a guy. He was a biker.
And by the way, they were meth heads.
They make a living.
These guys were. That's how they made their money.
Listen, they sell meth. I mean, my older brother went to prison for 3 years for selling meth. So it's a business. But early on, I remember we arrested a guy for a warrant and I was pulling him into the station. Probably a little rough by the handcuffs. Put him on the bench. And the lieutenant saw me doing that. And he pulled me aside and said, "Hey, Cardenas, like, I know you're working with Bob. He's an old Vietnam vet. What's he here for?" A warrant. He goes, "Listen," he goes, "you're going to make your own way in this world." He goes, "There's a letter of the law and the spirit of the law." He goes, "That's someone's brother, uncle, father." He goes, "So what? He's down and out. He's here for a warrant." So it really changed my perspective on, you know what, you're right. He is someone's brother or uncle. And who cares? He's here for a $3,000 warrant. And I really realized quickly that I was more about the spirit of the law than the letter of the law. Because, in the academy, they just teach you rules and regulations, right? And
but that's a good way to put it, because I think I'm more for spirit of the law than letter of the law.
And I stopped many people and people that drug problems and thefts. And I realized that a lot of people are a paycheck away from a crisis, right? And I remember one time we stopped a guy, walked out of a bank. He tried to rob a bank with a note. Came out, we stopped him, and 45-year-old guy, he goes, "I'm just trying to pay my mortgage and feed my kids." And it was almost a tear-jerking moment. Like, the poor bastard had no other escape, he thought. So I quickly realized it's really how you treat people, and that's really that's how I had a great career and success, by treating people well.
You never got shot at?
Yeah, there was a couple shootings.
Yeah.
Big shooting in Hollywood.
Did you ever have to shoot anybody?
Had a shootout, there was 5 of us involved with a shootout with a murder suspect in Hollywood.
Did we get him?
We got him.
One time I wouldn't say ran away, but when I was young, I don't remember how old I was, but I talked my buddy into coming down to LA with me. We had a T-top Camaro Z28 T-top.
I remember those.
And we were sleeping on the street, and we just crash in the car and then wake up and go figure it out. But the T-tops were off. We're crashing in the car, and all of a sudden a police helicopter comes around, and the LAPD comes up to us and they go, "Well, who are you? What are you doing here?" And we tell them, they said, "Well, you need to get out of here." I'm like, "Why is that?" They said, "Because, there's someone that's around that we're looking for." And it was Richard Ramirez. You remember Richard Ramirez?
Of course. Yeah. Oh, wow. So you were young then.
Oh yeah, I was a youngster, dude. But we were sleeping in our car, and apparently Richard Ramirez, the freaking killer,
Hollywood Hills
serial killer, was they were looking for the dude. He was around that area, and I'm sitting there sleeping in a car with T-tops open to the world.
That's wild.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, you might have been the cop that came up to the car. No. You never know.
But I learned how to connect with people, even gangsters and stuff in the South End. I would always talk people into jail instead of being physical. I mean, there's times you get people that are crazy, but I just connected with people. I remember one time I got in a little verbal trouble. I did a push-up contest with a bunch of gang members on the street. So
you ever like watch some of these cop fights on YouTube and shit, and it's like, don't they teach you guys how to fight?
It's horrible. Yeah.
It's almost like the average Joe can beat up a cop. Like, I don't get it. Why don't they teach cops MMA and like some badass shit to where you don't fucking fuck with them?
It's happening more now, but because the world's gotten softer, recruits don't have to box anymore. I used to have to box and do wrestling and take people down. They don't do that anymore.
So they used to, though?
Yeah. So they worry about being kind and gentle, but there's certain occupations, like firemen, don't lower the standards.
Yeah, well, again, I mean, dude, to me, I'm a spirit of the law kind of guy. Follow the damn law or get your ass kicked. Now, ass kicked meaning, get in trouble.
Yeah, you're going to jail.
Yeah, but and
I always say this, most people, when, listen, I say this as a famous grandmother saying, right? Nothing good happens after midnight. Most of this shit has happened at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and police aren't just chasing someone down the street shooting at them. There's usually some kind of encounter that occurred that caused something, you know?
Yeah. Except Rodney King.
Yeah, for sure. Rodney King.
What happened? Because again, we only told the media. Media was he was just driving down the road, and y'all pulled him over. When I say y'all, like you were there.
Yeah.
The cops pulled him over, hauled his ass out of the car, and they just started beating his ass. And he wasn't
claimed he was resisting, and he wasn't.
Yeah, but he wasn't being rude or anything.
Yeah.
You watched the video? Like the dude was like, leave me alone or help.
I watched it many times, and actually I worked with 2 of those guys, and when I knew their names, I said, yeah, I used to work with them. And they were the kind of guys that probably got bullied in high school and were like, now, like, okay, I'm able to pay society back, whatever their mindset was, because it was embarrassing. Humiliating. I mean, it was disgusting, really.
Yeah.
They could have easily, like you said, if they had any training in martial arts, someone could have just taken them down.
Well, to me, they do that. They're prejudiced. They're racist.
Yeah.
The only reason you'd beat someone's ass like that is because you're racist.
Yeah.
He didn't say anything smart ass. Because, dude, I mean, if I'm a cop and somebody's being a real dick, I might freaking...
It could escalate.
Slam him up against the car a little harder than I should have because you're a dick. And I'm going to freaking, manhandle you a little bit. I would never do that to anybody unless, of course, they were harming people.
Right.
But to me, on the most part, I'm a spirit of the law. I support cops, and from the old school, even technically I am a cop because they made me one.
Is it really?
But anyway, never practiced. But anyway, so okay, cool. So now you're a cop and you start protecting A-list celebrities, stuff like that.
I started working with a retired cop just for extra money, like most cops, because it wasn't a lot of money then. And after about a year of working with him, I was like, this isn't hard. I took the test, got my license and insurance, and I just started once again building relationships because I'm a relationship guy, and I started reaching out to some key people. Now I did have people helping me that were in the industry. And before I know it, I had pretty much all of Sony Music. Tommy Mottola ran Sony Music then, and I had all the artists. So I'm doing stock in cases. I'm traveling with them, Mariah Carey, Ricky Martin. It was endless. So I almost couldn't even be a cop anymore because it was just too much. So that became my passion.
So you retired as a cop and went and just built this protection agency. Yeah,
built the protection agency. I became a reserve with the sheriff, so I had credentials. But the bodyguard thing became a passion play, and really, I'm a service oriented person.
And then somehow, from there, you ended up being chief communications officer at Quest Nutrition, which sold for over $1 billion.
Yeah, that was totally serendipitous. I was in the gym. Shannon Penna, who goes by Quest Creator on Instagram, was working out. And, you have gym friends, like say hi to people. And one day she gave me a couple protein bars. And I remember I tried them and saw her the next week and said, those are pretty amazing. They're pretty good, because the bars prior to that were that, chalky, whatever, weren't so great. And I said, hey, I'm doing a celebrity event. I'm doing protection for a couple people, Jessica Simpson and, Mario Lopez will be there. But if you have some product, and they're a brand new company, only 2 flavored bars. I brought product to the event, even though I was doing security, I gave it to the publicist. And I didn't even know what the word content was, but she shot some video for me. Facebook had just started, no Instagram or Twitter. And I sent them the pictures and the video, and they were like, holy cow, how do you know these people? And that started our relationship.
And next thing you know, you're one of the top people at Quest Nutrition.
Yeah.
Now, where's Tom Bilyeu come into it?
So Ron, the founder, they owned a tech company, a software company, and Tom was an employee there. And so when they started Quest, Ron started Quest about a year into it with the website and everything. They sent Tom over to run it. So he became the president and also co-founder. And then he left a few.
But how can he be a co-founder if it was already founded?
Well, it was organized, and then they brought him in to be the president and co-founder. I mean, I don't know the logistics behind that because I wasn't there then,
I know, like this place, Lightspeed. I'm the founder.
Yeah.
There was a couple of people that I let invest. Yeah. Very, very early on that I had to buy out. They ended up trying to screw me and whatnot.
Oh, really?
But, so I bought them out. But the whole time they were like, I'm a co-founder. And I said,
you invested.
How are you a co-founder if it was already founded?
Yeah.
By me?
Yeah.
So I never let anyone say they were co-founders.
Yeah. So Ron formulated it, and then obviously made Tom, and Mike was our other partners and founders. Yeah.
So long story short, you guys built a big ass company and sold for a ton of money.
Yeah.
Including Tom Bilyeu.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Tom left 3 years before we sold to pursue his
Tom's
media
a
stuff.
smart dude too.
Yeah. He's got his own media company going on.
Oh yeah. Huge.
Yeah. Huge.
He's got a big brand.
So
him and Lisa.
Yeah. Exactly. They have their own shows. But
So what do you think out of all the things you've accomplished, the most rewarding was?
I'll be honest with you, because I'm a servant leader. I'll be honest, with Quest, when we started seeing people write us blogs saying, hey, I lost 30 pounds over the last 3 months with this go-to snack, I think it started becoming became my why. Like, I'm like, wow, we're changing people's lives. I mean, the bodyguard stuff is great, and I still have my company. But when I saw we were transforming people and people were like, hey, I'm diabetic and I found this go-to snack, or I've got celiac disease, it started becoming really like, wow, we're making a difference in the world. And so it became my why. And that's why I really dove into it. And I gave them about 9 months just free of just helping them build the company, do anything they needed to have it successful.
But now that that's over,
yeah.
What's keeping you busy now?
Oh, everything. 3 other brands.
Legendary.
Yeah, Legendary, Blackwater, First Form.
First Form.
Yeah. You know Andy, right?
Sure, dude. That First Form is my boy Andy Frisella.
And Sal.
And Sal and Chris.
Yeah, Chris Klein, yeah.
Yeah, Chris doesn't really get a lot
He's
of attention.
behind the scenes, yeah.
But
I get out there pretty regular. I went out for the Summer Smash.
Well, the protein bars they came out with, dude.
Oh, they're sick.
I'm like, I keep texting Andy. I'm like, dude, these cannot be fucking healthy. And he says, why are you saying that? I'm like, because they're like freaking delicious.
Yeah. I left you some of the meat sticks. We have, the beef sticks. I left them in the green room.
Well, the beef sticks taste like beef sticks. They're good.
Yeah.
Okay. But like, you eat a beef stick, it tastes like a beef stick. Okay. You eat their protein bar, especially I think it's called Peanut Butter Lover.
Oh, I think it's one of the number ones.
Which I am a peanut butter lover.
Yeah. It's incredible.
And I'm like, dude, that's like a fucking candy bar.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is bullshit. There's no way this thing's healthy.
Disguised as a protein bar.
Yeah. So Andy's like, yeah, they're pretty popular. So
they're really popular.
So how are you with First Form? You just rep them or promote them, or
let's call it an ambassador on steroids. I help them with relationships and stuff.
Hook them up with like the influence. They got a lot of athletes
influencers. Yeah. Sal and I had a bromance going on when I was still at Quest. He invited me. I actually went and visited their headquarters, and he said, hey, when you leave Quest, if you want to do something with us, and kind of just became a good marriage.
Now, Sal's a good dude too.
Incredible.
Good dude.
A great coach for that.
So now you're just, you said you're coaching people.
Coaching, yeah. I waited a long time. I think self-doubt was my biggest thing. But, as you're running these circles, and I'm going to Albert's events and Dan Fleischman's events and all these events, and I'm meeting these, and I was going to them because I was bringing product, right? And I'm listening to these guys speak, and I'm like, shit, I have a story. And then they started saying, Bruce, you have a story almost better than ours, or different or unique. Why aren't you sharing it? So that's why I kind of dove into it.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. So where do people find you?
I guess my website's easy. It's brucecardenas.com.
And by the way, that's Cardenas.
Yeah. And then
just like it sounds.
Yeah. And then Instagram is Bruce E. Cardenas. Yeah.
Bruce E.
Cardenas.
Yeah. If you want to follow him on Instagram. Now, what do you post on Instagram?
What do I post? Yeah. Reels, motivational stuff, events. I go to a lot of events.
But I mean, are you talking a lot, or?
Not talking as much as I should be.
You're just sharing.
I need to get better at talking.
Yeah, you got to start talking, dude.
Yes, as you do every day.
Well, I mean, what I do is I have a camera on me 24/7, except the bedroom and the bathroom.
Right.
Because I don't want to trend number 1 on Pornhub.
Right.
So that footage is all the footage one needs to find nuggets and chunks and pieces and bits.
Right.
Because if you really want to grow a brand, quickly, you're going to need 3 to 5 videos per day on Instagram.
That's a lot.
Per day, bro.
Yeah.
Now, someone says that, they're like, well, dude, how are you making so much content? See, that's the thing that I kind of hacked. I don't make content. People think I'm a content creator. I'm not a content creator. I'm just sharing what I do and say throughout the day. So like, for example, this might end up on social media. This clip right here could be the very one that ends up on social media. And people don't realize that, like, I'm just doing this. I'm not creating content here. I'm having a podcast. It just happens to be filmed. When we're done, you see my camera guy, he's filming. I go out and smoke a cigar, he's filming. I pick up a phone, it's an old buddy, he's filming. So it doesn't matter as long as you're filming, because you need so much content to accelerate it that you have to almost film everything. And then the only other thing that people say to that is, well, I don't do anything to film. And I go, that's the problem. So either you have shit you should be filming, or you ain't doing shit, and that's why you're not filming. And if you're not doing shit, folks, start doing some shit, People are like, well, how? Like you go to event, you do what this gentleman's doing. You go to events, you shake hands, you build relationships, you network, and the next thing you know, man, you got connections up the yin yang.
Yeah, and I go plenty of places. I'm plenty of events, plenty of speaking gigs. So I just need to film it more.
You need to film it. You need to freaking chop it up. You need to put it out on social media, and you got to not worry about what everybody thinks or says.
You know what? You said it best. And I know you know him well. Wes Watson. I was at an event with him down at Dan Fleischman's ranch.
Yeah, well, he better not have used my line. What did he say?
No, but we were talking. He brought up me. He said, "Dude," he goes, "I spent 10 years in prison." He goes, "Look what I've accomplished." He goes, "You got a fucking story." He goes, "Start talking about it. Don't be a pussy. Don't be afraid to be on camera. Just talk about it. People are interested in what you're doing."
And they're always interested in stories.
He didn't steal any of your bombs. No,
that wasn't it.
Yeah, I know.
Because I always talk about, when I go out on a stage and talk, a lot of it is, people want to know how to build a personal brand because it's definitely, worth doing. And I'm like, there was no method. Here's all I did. But the problem is most people won't do what I did because I already didn't give a fuck. I already cured my allodoxophobia.
And what flipped that switch?
Do you know what allodoxophobia is?
Fear of speaking? No.
The fear of other people's opinion.
Well, with their opinion. That's right. You mentioned that at Albert's event.
Yeah, so most people, man, they don't want to put stuff out there because they'll feel stupid, look stupid. My mom won't like it. My sister won't like it.
Right.
Some ex won't like it, whatever. So they don't put anything out there and they stay unknown their whole life and they struggle their asses off. And if they just knew that all they had to do was quit worrying about what everybody thinks and just start putting you out there. If you don't want to put you out there in fear of what everybody thinks, then you don't think enough of yourself. You need to go raise your self-worth.
Right.
That's what people need to do. So I don't know if that's your case, but
no,
believe it or not, most people, dude, they won't know that that's why they don't do it because it's subconscious and that's below awareness. So a lot of people, they don't realize they do care about it, what everybody thinks so much that they don't post. But when you say, well, why don't you post? That's never the reason. Oh no. If you told them that, they'd be like, what are you talking about, dude? I don't give a shit. Well, that's because they're not aware. See, it's subconscious. It's below awareness.
Yeah.
So it might be why you're not putting shit out there. Like, dude, you got stories.
Yeah.
You can tell some funny shit. You're a personality. You're a character. You should be all over it.
I do notice this when I do speak and do like a video like that, I get more, almost all positive. So it does work for sure.
Yeah. Well, you just need to do more of it.
Yeah. I'm not reluctant to do it. I just need to do more of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And next thing you know, dude, you start getting freaking people going, hey man, you want to start a podcast? Dude, do you have a podcast?
No.
See, again, dude, start a podcast. You know a lot of people. You got a lot of connections. You can have big names on the podcast and then dig deep in their background. Don't worry about because everybody always says, Brad, why don't you have a list of questions prepared? I get to know people on the podcast. Right. And so I think that's the
best way. It's authentic.
I think it gives an authentic feel. And the Bomb Squad agrees. They're like, dude, because some people are like, you interrupt your people. I interrupt because as you said what you said, it made me think of something. And if I waited, and especially with some guests, because some guests they're long-winded and they're pitchy. They're really trying to say what they think they should to sound the coolest.
Yeah.
They're not just being themselves. So if I wait for them to finish, it might be 3 minutes, 5 minutes. And quite frankly, now I forgot what the hell I was going to say.
You're going to sleep.
Yeah. So I got to interrupt. And not only that, dude, real conversations, people interrupt each other. All the time.
100%.
So you just said for sure and 100%. I was talking, bro.
I know.
Why you interrupted me?
And that's funny because one of my skills is listening.
But dude, real conversations, dude.
You override.
You change directions. You freaking think of something else that had nothing to do with nothing. But hey, that's why I only have, I don't know how many listeners I have, but one of these days I'll have billions. I'll be the number one podcast on planet Earth. I'm sure you're getting there now. It's already, in my opinion, it's already there. It's that valuable. If you go back and listen to all the episodes, dude, if you can get around my juvenile personality. Right. Yeah, I know. I've seen it. Dude, a lot of knowledge has been dropped on these podcasts. What knowledge would you give to the Bomb Squad knowing what you know today? Like, what do you like if someone was listening that's 20 years old and you said, listen, dude, here's what I wish I knew when I were 20 to carry out through my whole life. Give me just 3 things that you can drop on the Bomb Squad. I'll tell you right now, relationships are priceless. They're better than
money sometimes. I wish I had created better relationships early on. Now they're priceless to me. And I always make more deposits than withdrawals. I don't think anyone I've ever met in my life will say, Bruce has taken more than he's given. Because when you do need that help or favor, someone's like, he's already made me 10 deposits. You know what I mean? And I think that's where I got where I was at Quest. I not only brought value, I exceeded their expectations. So if they needed a room painted, and I would do it on a weekend because I knew the studio needed to get done, I'd also get the furniture and get everything else, and they'd come back and say, shit, we didn't ask you to do that. I know you didn't, but I got it done for you. So I always like to exceed people's expectations.
Another good one.
And the last one is bring value and don't expect anything in return. Too many people have their hand out like, hey, I did this for you, now what do I get? Just keep bringing value. And eventually people are going to say, this guy's priceless or this woman's priceless. They just keep bringing value. I've got to use them. And I tell people this. I helped out a kid recently. He couldn't even get it in the door at an HR department. I said, do me a favor. When you go in next, just say, I'll work for free in this position you have, whether it's 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. And if you're happy at the end of my free internship, will you hire me if it's an option? And he got in and he become an employee.
Did he have to work for free?
He worked for free for 2 months, and then he put him on a payroll. But they didn't have a position. I just want to come in and show my worth, and it worked.
Yeah. Well, I mean, dude, if you got that kind of confidence in your skill set,
yeah. So
those are good. Now,
I think so.
Now,
help carry me.
What do you wish you knew back in the day?
I wish I knew. I didn't grow up in a home like my father was a blue collar worker. I didn't know about investing, and I wish I did, because I remember I got hit by a car when I was like 10 years old. Settlement. Let's say, I think it was 10 grand when I became 18. And my dad knew enough. He said, maybe you should think about setting that aside or do something with it. I went out and bought a used Corvette. You know, I think about things that I've done in my life like that, where I wish I knew more about investing, because the money I've probably blown away over the years. So that's one takeaway for sure. And then also, I think I should have invested in myself more. Reading, knowledge, relationships. You know, you skate through your 20s, I think, a lot of times just kind of jerking around.
Are you married?
I tried that.
Didn't work?
No.
What happened there?
That's life, right? I got 2 great kids out of it, 2 grown kids that are amazing.
But it didn't work, the relationship?
Yeah.
Why? Because of you?
Yeah, because of me, for sure. Yeah,
100%. Yeah. It's always our fault.
It was my fault. You know what? I'll be honest with you, full transparency. I had some good success going on in the bodyguard business, and I think I outgrew. I thought I was bigger than life for a minute.
Did you?
Don't ask that. The grass is never greener, and so I blew a good opportunity.
So you regret that?
For sure. Yeah.
Where's she at now?
She's moved on. She lives in another state and happy.
Why can't you go out there and try to?
Oh wow.
Recoup.
I guess that's always an option, but now that ship sailed.
Not if you loved her still.
Yeah, but now there's other relationships.
See, yeah. I always meet a better one. So like I'm with one, we break up. I'm like, oh, maybe I should get her back, and I don't know if I'm gonna ever meet another one.
And then
you meet another great one.
Yeah.
So, but if I ever like broke up with one and never met another great one, and I still love that one, unless of course she got married and moved on.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's been 20 years. I'd go back and say, hey, can we give this another round now that I've matured?
Case. Yeah, we've both moved on, other relationships and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Your kids, what would they think anyway?
I don't know if they'd have an opinion.
What do your kids do?
My daughter's a nurse, very proud of her, locally in LA, and my son's an entrepreneur. He owns a partner in a construction remodel business.
Does he tap into your network?
You want to hear something really funny? He sometimes writes people on Instagram, and usually attractive fitness girls, and they'll say, oh, I know your dad. And that shoots him out of the water. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, he tries to play the field a little bit.
Because you've been out in the fitness world for how long?
15 years. With the nutrition companies.
Now, are these other products yours, or is you just helping people grow their brands?
Yeah, as I call myself, I'm an entrepreneur in these companies.
Why don't you ever start one?
Well, it's interesting because I'm getting calls from people, and I'm having these conversations, because I should have years ago, but it's never too late, right?
You know what I'm going to do?
What?
Nothing.
Okay.
I was going to be funny, but no.
Start a company?
What I was going to say is I'm going to start a company, fitness company, health food.
Yeah.
That's not actually healthy.
You could pull it off.
Dude, listen, there's a place right down the road called Protein House.
Oh, I've been there many times.
I love Protein House.
Yeah.
Dude, Protein House is like killer tasting food, and it is all healthy. But there's a drink that I used to get. I've been changing because I think it bloats me a little bit, but it's called Peanut Butter Dream. It's a protein shake.
Oh, it's got whey protein in it. Yeah,
dude, it's called Peanut Butter Dream, and I love peanut butter.
Yeah.
So like it tastes like a peanut butter milkshake from a damn milkshake shop.
Oh wow,
it is freaking delicious. And I'm like, there is no way, because you look at the macros, you look at the sugars, you look. It's like same thing with Andy. Like, dude, this candy bar, this is a candy bar. You're calling it a protein bar, which obviously they're not doing that. They're both legitimately healthy. What about if someone were to make one and then just not, which I'd never do, by the way, and everybody knows this. I'm joking.
Like a regular Dairy Queen shake.
But don't you think a company would be successful if they came out with like a freaking Dairy Queen shake, but they just said it was a protein shake because they threw some whey in there, and all of a sudden it's still ice cream, it's still all the shit that makes it good, and you're drinking it thinking it's healthy because because there's protein in it.
By the way, there's companies that have done that. Add it. People say, oh, it's got 10 grams of protein. Forget all the sugar they don't read.
Yeah, but that's almost unethical.
It's definitely unethical
in my book.
And there's very limited restrictions on that. But the cool thing is, and there's also flavor houses now that make everything taste amazing now. That wasn't like that 15, 20 years ago.
Dude, my other buddy, this is called the plug episode. Yeah. Since you're the plugger.
Yeah.
His name's Chris.
Okay.
Cavallini. Owns Nutrition Solutions.
Little Jack dude.
Oh, he's jacked. Like, it almost looks cartoonish.
He was just at Bedros' event this weekend. We met. I met him for the first time.
He's like freaking shredded.
Yeah.
But he's got a nutrition company, much like
a food company, right?
Yeah, much like the other one that I used. It was
Icon Meals.
Icon Meals.
Yeah.
What's that? Trevor? No.
Why is his name going to slip me? We talk all the time.
His name's slipping me too.
He's in Texas.
Yeah, but he's cool, man. He freaking said, "Hey, Brad," he hooked me up. Icon Meals is great. Nutrition Solutions is great. Both great companies. But Nutrition Solutions has these donuts.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And they're protein donuts. And the dressing is like coconut oil and it's like healthy stevia. It's freaking, it's damn, dude.
Did they come frozen?
If I didn't know Chris, I'd say, dude, those are one of those bullshit things.
Todd Abrams. Yeah. Good dude.
Well, I liked Icon Meals because you can just order your shit. Like, give me some hamburger and give me some rice.
They show up in a container.
Boom. And nice sealed container, throw it in the microwave, you're done.
He's built a nice business. I like him a lot.
Now that I'm intermittent fasting, I go to restaurants.
Yeah.
I got one window, dude, and I'm going to make it count. I want it cooked right in front of me. I ain't microwaving shit. What do you think of these packaged meals? Do you think people should do them rather than eat like shit?
No. The packaged meals is a great option. I mean, listen, everyone seems like the fast pace of this world. You don't need to be a fitness person, just executives and people on the go. You fill up your freezer, take a couple out each time and defrost them. They're amazing. Like Icon meals are very clean. I mean, it's a very competitive landscape now, but I think Icon's leading. There's a handful of them.
And my boy, Nutrition Solutions. I
can't think of Mega Meals or something, but yeah, they're both big companies.
Alex Hormozy, when I met him, I think he sold it, but he had Prestige Meals or Prestige Labs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he started popping them out.
He's a good dude. He lives here, right?
Yeah, he's a smart dude, too.
Yeah, very smart.
Yeah, marketer.
Yeah.
I think anyone that's a really good marketer, destined for financial success.
Yeah.
How are you at marketing?
Great. Well, I know,
like he brought in all his products, laid it out in my green room, which is smart because you never know who's walking in and out of there.
I tell people this: if you have a consumable item and you show up empty-handed, you're an idiot. If you have a drink, a bar, a beverage, a protein bar, everywhere you go, drop it at the desk, drop it at someone's office. How could you not? I used to go to the meetings with the Quest guys.
Because it costs money. What if you can't afford it?
Well, early on, the founder of Quest called me in one day. How much product you give out this month, Bruce? I said, maybe $3,500 worth. He goes, you need to be giving out like $10,000 a month. He goes, the ratio that we're selling, we're going to be $1 billion company, but we need to give away $1 million worth of product. And that makes sense. I mean, early on, it's hard to start like that.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because like, if I just started a company, I need to sell these damn bars. I can't be giving them all away.
But you get it in Alex's hand and these key people's hands and Todd Abrams. They're like, wow, these bars are good. You should go buy them. I mean,
you remember, obviously you remember Red Bull.
Of course.
Dude, I remember when they were giving away Red Bull.
The Red Bull girls, the wings, they'd go everywhere.
The little cars would
Mini
roll
Coopers
up and
with the
they'd
ball.
hand you Red Bulls. And I'm like, why are they giving this away? I never understood it, but they just kept giving it away. And then the next thing you know, Red Bull's huge.
And then you're going to 7-Eleven buying one if you liked it or not.
But do you believe that the giving it away part is what caused them to grow?
100%. I'm a firm believer in that. Even with apparel, I know it's painful because it's a budget, right? You got to sell, but you get it in the right people's hands, and not that icky shit where you're like, hey, I'm going to send you a food and I want you to post about it. I don't care if you post about it. I used to tell people I practice a Fight Club rule, the first rule of Fight Club. We don't talk about it. And I remember Ronda Rousey, remember the UFC fighter?
Of course I do.
We met at an expo and we hit it off. I used to deliver. She liked apple bars and I would deliver them to her house. And I never asked her anything. One day she did a post and I remember it blew up. We could tell it at the office how effective it was. And her agent calls me and goes, hey, we need to talk about a deal. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, Rhonda just posted. I said, I didn't ask her to. And what happened was she ended up calling him out saying, hey man, I'm friends with those guys. I like Bruce. He's done me solid. Don't worry about what I post about. I make enough money with Eveready and different things. So we had that happen all the time because it was just authentic relationships. That's marketing.
Well, that's real. That's organic. That's some of the best.
People like, and you know this, I mean, Tony Hsieh said 9 out of 10, they want to do business with people they like. And if you have a likable item and you're likable, it's a win-win.
Well, word of mouth advertising is, I think, the best advertising, because if I saw it on a commercial, well, they're just trying to sell me. But if you told me about it and I know you,
yeah,
it's more powerful than me seeing it on a commercial from the company, because of course the company is going to say it's the best tasting protein shake in the world. But is it? Well, now 2 of my buddies tell me that's what's influencing me to go get it.
Exactly.
So the only way to get word of mouth is to deliver a solid product.
Even though some marketers will say, yeah, but where's the KPI and the ROI? And you know what? That's wonderful for your analytics, but I'm telling you, you get it in someone's hand and you're going to tell 2 friends. That's how it works.
Especially if it's consumable.
Yeah.
Like I've told 1 million people about First Form, and you know, First Form's already huge. But I've turned people on to First Form. They didn't know what First Form was. I'm like, you've never heard of First Form? And so I'd throw them a peanut butter lover, and they'd go, dude, this is unbelievable. Where do you get these?
Here's our website.
Just go to firstform.com.
Yeah.
And I'm not paid.
Yeah.
I know people that get paid. Wes Watson gets paid.
Yeah, he's an athlete now.
Yeah, like, damn, Andy, why don't you make me an athlete? He probably doesn't want to because I've always been pudgy. As soon as I get ripped, Andy will be like, all right, dude, you're in. That's
a word of mouth product, by the way. People talk about it and they love it.
And it's good.
Yeah.
So what's legendary?
Healthy pastries. But you just picture a Pop-Tart, but with 20 grams of protein. And then they have sweet rolls and they have other stuff.
Sugar?
No added sugars.
And by the way, was that a trick? Added sugars. We didn't add any. Just the shit that came with
30
it.
30 grams. No.
And by the way, how many grams is a lot of sugar?
I would say anything you're consuming in one single serving, if it's got more than 4 or 5 grams, it's probably too much.
So the other day I had a yogurt and it was 18 grams of sugar.
Okay, that's borderline. I mean,
that's not a good yogurt.
No, and how many carbs did it have though? But
I didn't look.
Yeah, you're just down.
I'm intermittent fasting.
So yeah,
I eat whatever I want during a window.
Yeah, I don't think there's any rules. Listen, if you're in intermittent fasting, you can do a lot with that. You can even eat a pint of ice cream between those things if you wanted to, but I know you're not.
Well, no, I'm eating pretty healthy. But from what I've heard, if you intermittent fast the way I'm doing it, which is just 6-hour window, and that's every day.
Yeah.
You eat whatever the hell you want, they told me. They said, dude, you literally can eat whatever the hell you want in that window. If I'm overeating and, getting so stuffed of all the candy and stupid, well, then obviously they don't mean that. But like, listen, you want a hamburger? You want to eat the bun? Because mostly before, I'd just throw the bun out when I like the bun.
Yeah. But
I keep away from carbs. I keep away from sugar. But other than that, I eat pretty much anything I want during those windows.
It's a great practice. There's a lot of health benefits to it. I mean, a good friend, Mark Bell, has done it many times. And sometimes I'll see what he eats. I'm like, holy cow, that's a lot of food. But he said, I enjoy it, and I'm staying within my parameters.
So interesting, man. You went from a cop to a security guard to a
food business to
the Quest what is it? Not CMO.
Chief Communications
Officer.
Fancy. Yeah.
To now coach,
brand builder,
mentor, brand builder.
Yeah, working on a book called, it's going to be about intrapreneur instead of entrepreneur. So how you could kind of be your own business in a business.
Well, a lot of people are.
A lot, yeah. People don't have
Sales.
that mindset. They get nervous, but if you have the right kind of relationship, you could build your own business here.
100%.
Yeah.
So how do I get you to start
Doing more.
repping old Brad Lee's shit? I don't have nothing consumable though.
Yours is a great product to talk about.
Do you ever do consumables? Or do you only do consumables?
No. No, anything.
Well,
To me,
I notice it's always fitness related.
No, listen, I always say this. I'm glad I never got hooked up in selling canned corn or widgets, right? It's always kind of cool stuff. But
Is that because you like the stuff when you see it?
Yeah, because you know what's crazy? When I left Quest, the offer, people start calling, and I remember I got a call from an energy drink company. He said, "Hey, I don't know, I don't even care how much money you made, but I want you to work for me." But I didn't really like the vibe. I went and visited headquarters, so the culture was kind of weird. But also, his drinks were like horrible. So how am I going to? You can't get behind something if you don't even believe it. That's not even an option, right?
Not for me.
Yeah,
I've told people before I can sell anything to anybody.
Yeah, as a salesperson you can, but I want to feel good about it,
It's the only way to, in my opinion, win.
Yeah.
Because like when I train salespeople, first thing I say is if you're selling something that you don't believe in, stop selling it.
Yeah.
That's number one. Why? Well, because in order to sell people to a level that I'm teaching, you have to believe that you're helping people.
Yeah.
And so if I know my product's a piece of shit, worthless crap, how am I selling it to you if I'm supposed to literally believe that I'm helping you? Because if I can change my perspective to where, dude, I'm not selling you anything, I'm helping you. It gives you a confidence. It gives you some certainty that you can transfer very easily. It almost gives you almost a security.
Yeah.
Right? To where you're not so nervous.
Yeah.
You have to believe you're helping somebody.
Yeah. Something, in real quick, a gap stop. When I got out of the Marine Corps and I was processing to be a police officer, it took like a year with the backgrounds, but I was looking for a job. And I remember there was an advertisement for a brand new Mitsubishi dealership. They were looking for a salesperson. So I was like, I've never sold anything. Let me find out. I was their number one salesman for 9 months straight. And I remember when I was leaving to go to the police department, the owner said, "Hey, if you stay, you'll be making, at the time, whatever, $200,000 a year. You'll be the GM here." But I realized I wasn't selling. I was helping people. If sales sometimes sounds dirty, I was more like, someone wants to buy the truck, I'd explain it to them, and people would sometimes leave, and the old timers be like, "Dude, you never let anyone leave the lot. You need a backup guy to come in and close." I said, "They'll be back," and they'd come back because I was just authentic with them. But I was their number one salesman, and I wasn't qualified. I would say I wasn't qualified. I was qualified at having good relationships.
Well, it's all about relationships.
Yeah.
Relationships are key. In fact, every dollar you've ever received came from a relationship of some kind. People don't realize that. I try to teach them that. Every dollar we get is from a relationship of some kind.
Yep, 100%.
So if you want more dollars, get more
Build
relationships.
Yeah.
What would you say some tips are to build relationships?
You got to get out there. Social media is great. You could DM people, but I go to more events. I go to as many events as Dan Fleischman. The more hands you could shake, the more people.
No, you don't.
Maybe not as many, but yeah, he's on.
Dude, he's
on a plane by coastal. But what I'm saying is, and people always, well, there's no events. There's always events. Even like Dan said it best. You can create your own elevator night in your own community. Bring people together, have small dinners, have networking groups, whether it's real estate, whether it's car dealerships. Bring people together. You'd be surprised. You know this. How many people really don't have a big circle of relationships? I know we have a lot of acquaintances in our life, but build your network. Say hi to people. There's, and by the way, I'm stealing this. I didn't make it up. There's this thing, and I try and do it every day. I text 3 people a day. I email 3 people a day. And I try and call 3 people a day, either new people or people that I just haven't talked to in a while, and that just keeps growing your circle, your Rolodex.
Jesse Itzler.
So when he was building Marquis Jet, I was doing the security for NetJets. We never knew each other, but we crossed paths. I talked to him recently at that event, and I told him, he goes, dude, we were probably in the same meetings.
Yeah, he says, to the 3 C's.
Yeah.
Congratulate, compliment, or console. So you should reach out every day.
Yeah.
And compliment, congratulate, or console.
Yeah.
Somebody, 3 or 4 people a day.
That's great.
And I always teach what I do in the mornings, which is I reach out to 5 people. I don't necessarily text or call. It just depends on who it is and how close we are. But you identify 5 people every single day that you're going to reach out to, and just don't want anything. Just check on how they're doing. Tell them something nice. I miss you, buddy.
Yeah.
You know, if I can help you, let me know. And because a lot of people don't realize you don't want to be the guy that calls when you need something. And there's people that accidentally do it, not even being intentional. I know people that every time they call me, they want something.
For sure.
Or they're not calling. And it's like, I think I've done it before where it's like, I may not call you at all. And then one day someone goes, hey, do you know anybody that can get, snacks for the green room? And I'll be like, oh shit, I know Bruce. Yeah. Bruce, hey, can you get some snacks? Yeah. You're like, yeah, no problem. Boom. Then I don't call Bruce anymore. And then it's like, someone else a year later, I call you. Hey, Bruce, can you do this?
Yeah, I get it.
Pretty soon, dude, you're not taking my call.
Yeah.
Pretty soon you're going to be like, dude.
Yeah.
Every time this guy calls, he wants something.
And I know people like that. But
let's not be like that.
Yeah, don't. It's okay just to say hi to somebody.
You just reach out 5 people a day.
Yeah.
How you doing? Miss you. Good job. Need my help. Let me know. You don't want anything. Just touch and base. Dude, that's why I have a powerful network. Yeah,
I did that recently. I just texted a guy and he said, oh my God, that's weird you called me or text me. He goes, and he put me on the board of a company because I hadn't talked to him in 3 years. He said, come see me. He goes, I need something. It was weird. And I didn't ask for it. So
interesting.
Yeah. You never know what's going to come of it.
Well, buddy, I appreciate you coming up.
Oh, thank you.
You do anything else in Vegas or did you come just for this?
I'm going to go by and see Flex Lewis. I'm not doing his podcast till November, but yeah.
Flex invited me to be on his podcast. I just got to get over there to do it. I want him on mine. So when you see him, say Bradley told you again, get your butt over.
He's got a great one too.
Yeah.
It's really growing. And then I'm shooting up to Salt Lake City for Lions, Not Sheep.
Oh yeah. For Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's a good one. Sean's cool too. You know all the right people.
Sean's a good guy. You know what? Now my next step is getting on the stage with these guys. That's my next move. I've been serving them. Now I need to be with them. So.
Well, you want me to give you my advice?
Yes, sir. Create more content.
No. Put on an event.
Okay.
Invite them to speak.
Like Albert did.
And you speak.
Yeah.
Because it's your microphone now.
Yeah.
That's the fastest way, bro.
I like that's what Albert did, right? I mean,
that's exactly what Albert did. He came to me and he said, dude, how do I get on Grant's stage? He was obsessed with Grant Cardone.
Yeah.
And I know Grant very well. And I know Grant's never putting him onto that stage.
Yeah.
Ever.
Right.
I wouldn't say ever, but definitely not when he was asking.
Where he was starting as a puppy. Yeah.
So I said, Albert, just start your own and then get Grant to speak there. And then you don't have to worry about being on his stage because he'll be on yours. And he goes, blink. And he did it. Yeah. And now Driven's a big event every year.
Puts on nice events.
Yeah. Even though the next one's coming up in November, he of course asked me to speak because I've been at every single one. And I'm like, dude, people got to be getting tired of Brad Lee. Like, stop. I can't keep doing it.
But that's where I first met you. So yeah,
I know, but I said, I can't keep doing it, dude. It's ridiculous. I said, I ain't doing it. And then he basically said, he's a little butthurt. So I said, fine, I'll do it.
No, but you have to start I mean, there's no disrespect, but you have to keep growing your Rolodex. You don't have to do everyone.
No, I know, but dude, come on. Like 7 years in a row.
Right.
Brad Lee. People think it's my event.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, will you be at the next one?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, I'll see you there. Folks, go follow this dude, Bruce Cardenas. Bruce E. Cardenas or Cardenas.
Cardenas.
On Instagram, or just go to Bruce Cardenas.
Instagram, you mean? Or BruceCardenas.com.
Why do I keep wanting to say Cardenas?
However you want to pronounce it.
Cardenas. BruceCardenas.com.
Yeah.
And thanks for the bars. Until next time, as always, keep it real. Failed succeeding, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like I'm succeeding in spite of myself.
Right.
Because when you go back 24 years, there was nobody doing online training.
Yeah.
Yeah, go look.
That's what I'm saying. You're ahead of I remember we met a long time. We probably met 4 years ago, maybe 5.
Yeah.